Welcome back to part 2 of this review of the Dragon issue 234. As I'm looking through this, I'm seeing lots of adverts for different items which no longer exist anymore, like the D&D CD-ROM, really old computer games, stockists for TSR, and other things. I'll show you some more when I see them. There's a really good one in here for the MechWarrior card game. Tap this. I like that. That's actually quite funny. What else do we have in here? There we go. Netrunner, which I think has actually just come out again. Actually, Fantasy Flight just re-released Netrunner. So it was rather interesting to see these adverts again for a long time. And with the exception of Wizards of the Coast, which has the advert www.wizards.com, none of these have websites. They've all got telephone numbers and addresses. And it's so alien and so weird to go back and see this stuff again. So where was I? Oh yeah, I was just talking about Artifacts of Athos, which is a strange article because it was out of place in a Halloween-themed Dragon magazine. In fact, for those of you who don't know, Dragon always had this thing of rather making the April issue a jokey, April-y-fooly one, where you wouldn't take it seriously. They also had this tradition of making their October issue rather scary and rather ominous, blah blah blah, and it was a Halloween issue basically. Later on, Paizo had another theme month. I can't remember which month it was though in the year, where they would just talk about all the product lines that no longer existed anymore. So you'd get articles about Dark Sun, about Ravenloft, about Acquia, what it was called, and you get articles about Spelljammer, articles about Greyhawk, which I always thought was a waste of time, because if you're reaching out to readers to get them to buy stuff like that, then those products don't exist anymore, so that's a wasted effort. And for those people who aren't invested into those settings, the articles themselves are useless, or next to useless, so kind of annoying. Right, we had the Dragon Bestiary, which is another regular article they had. The Necromancer's Arsenal. We got again a really cool picture. I love this artwork. This artwork is amazing. Which basically talks about new undead types. So you've got Spike Undead, Acid Zombies, Dust Skeletons, Quick Zombies, Defiling Skeletons, Absorbing Zombies. What do Absorbing Zombies do? Absorbing Zombies are the banes of wizards as they're immune to spells that cause damage. Actually absorbing their powers, they appear to regular zombies except their eyes, which glow with a natural silver light when charged magical energy, small sparks constantly emitted from their flesh. And then they do shocking grasp on you. That's pretty interesting, I like that. There we go. Oh, there we go. There's an advert for Fading Stuns and the vampire card game Eternal Struggle. So, yeah, I told you I'd find an interesting thing in there. And then there's, again, another advert for Netrunner and one for Dragon Dice. Dragon Dice I never got into. I never understood it. I never bought any of it. I tried to read a couple of articles for it, and there's one in here. I never understood what it was trying to tell me. There is a story in here, which is from Dragonlance 5th Age, which again is out of place, and is just terrible. I'm sorry, but it is. Who wrote this? Dave Gross. I'm really sorry, Dave Gross. I just didn't like the story. It's not that interesting. And again, it's really out of place. There's also some reviews on books. Here we go. Basically a Tactica on Swamp Stalkers, which are a particular dice type apparently in Dragon Dice, and it's like I have no idea what any of this stuff means. Here we go. Swamp Stalkers can easily be the best all-round units that forces of evil have seen. They have few weaknesses, many strengths. You can, rather than bury your opponents, you can mutate them, and it's like, what? I thought it doesn't make any sense, so why would you roll the dice? There's a beautiful article here for Reaper Miniatures when they did some undead stuff for the time period, rather interesting. And of course, The Bazaar of the Bazaar, which is one of my favourite articles, always has been one of my favourite articles in this magazine. And this is Lich Magical Items. So yeah, this is rather interesting. You've got stuff that are particularly designed for a lich to carry, like the Amulet of Undead, the Blackfire Wand, the Bonebriar Amulet. Oh, the Bonebriar Amulet, I remember that. It makes spikes come out of your bones, which for a lich is interesting, but for a human being, if you ever tries using it, is incredibly painful, as you would imagine. The Brooch of Turning Resistance. Amulet of Aura Suppression, so people don't know that you're a lich because you don't give out that cold aura. Memory Globe. The Nightmare Harness, a harness you can put onto nightmares to do what you tell them to do. Potion of Yellow Mold. So you can give yourself yellow mold, which is rather nasty. Which to a lich is not a problem, but for every other person in the existence it's kind of bad. I think there's some gloves in here which also suppress your cold touch, so you can touch people. The Staff of Flesh, which is exactly as bad as it sounds. Again, we've got all these interesting cons. No web addresses for them, no email addresses. In fact, it's a case of you have to send letters off to PO boxes with checks to get tickets. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm sorry if I go a bit quiet every now and then, because it's very nostalgic for me to go through this. Even to this day, after having read it for the last couple of days, it's still incredibly nostalgic to just read through this and get a grasp of what's going on. There we go, Dice Master, an exciting new collectible dice game coming in summer from Ice Entertainment. Never heard of that. Never seen it, never purchased it, never heard anyone that's played it or owned it. If you have ever played Dice Masters or owned Dice Masters, let me know. Make a video response. Show me what this is, because I know it's from Ice, and Ice went up and down in terms of prosperity to the point where they got bought out. But was this their attempt to go into Dragon Dice? I don't know, because I've never seen or heard of it. And I like Ice. I like Rollmaster most of the time. A couple of little bits of humour, which I find funny even to this day. And where is it? Where is it? Where are you? Here we go. Floyd. And where's the other one? Where's the other one? Where are you? You're in here somewhere. Maybe it's not in this issue actually. No, sorry, no, it's not in this issue. Ignore me. So you got Floyd, which is rather interesting, and then you've got the role-playing reviews, and this is rather interesting because it's a review article in a TSR magazine reviewing TSR products. Okay. So I'll just let that sink in for a moment of how interestingly biased that is. What is even weirder is the fact is they don't give everything perfect scores. I'm not even kidding. They give Night Below 5 out of 6. It's basically a D6. 1 is not recommended, 2 is maybe useful, 3 is fair, 4 is good, 5 is excellent, and 6 is the best. They give Night Below a 5, which is rather interesting because everyone I've spoken to about Night Below says it's practically unplayable, at least for the first third. Undermounted Lost Levels got a 4 out of 6, which is rather interesting. And both of those got a rather interesting thing. And then they reviewed Earth Dawn by FASA and gave it a 6 out of 6. They reviewed the Carthron Rift for Star Wars. I don't know if you can see that. No. They gave it a 5. So to them, your money is better invested in these two products than buying the Lost Levels of Undermountain, because they gave it a 4. And it's like, I understand bias reviews, but surely you're shooting yourself in the foot if you're being that open and honest with your customers. But maybe it was a different time back then. But yeah, that's the end of it. There's this rather cool picture and advert for Darks on the back, which to this day I've never owned. I don't know people that own it, but I've never owned it myself. I know it comes with a cloth map and all sorts of Gucci shit. And at the back there is a lovely, beautiful advert. It's advertising Ravenloft, but it's only in this top corner here, which is rather out of the way and hard to see. It's advertising the Grim Harvest. which is the Requiem, last part of the Requiem campaign. So yeah, it's a two-parter. I do apologise, and it's issue number 234 of Dragon Magazine. If you can ever find this in a back catalogue or in an archive or in a shop anywhere, I recommend you pick it up. It's really interesting if you're into undead and all that Gucci stuff like that. Thanks for your time, guys. Bye-bye.